smart enough, and doggone it, people like us.
Shit, Mr. Handy.
People like you.
Minding Our Business is brought to you by support from viewers like you.
Yeah, so are we're recording now?
We're definitely recording.
All right.
And the government's been defunded, so it's a government shutdown, meaning, like the public broadcasting system. We lost all of our government funding, everybody.
Oh, the government shut down?
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean, maybe it's back on by the time this episode drops.
We'll see.
So we're starting another riveting episode of Minding Our Business, where we talk mental health and entrepreneurship. So today we're checking in with a guest. We have Seth, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and your business.
Sure. Do I get the microphone?
So this mic's not working. It just makes me feel more comfortable.
Okay, good.
So
it's like your emotional support microphone.
Yeah, I'm the only mic
It's your
here.
binky.
I get that.
Yeah, it's
That's
my
fair.
binky.
Okay. My name is Seth Katz. I currently own Vita Design and Build. We are a design and build firm out of Yardley, PA, beautiful Yardley in Bucks County, and we specialize in home remodels. Most things we do are kitchens, bathrooms, basements. We also do additions. And the other thing that sets us apart is we try to specialize in doing the design work and letting people kind of see what they're going to get before they get it. So that's a big push for us.
So is your background, did you start in design? I know we'll get into you having a million type of jobs, but
Sure.
did you, I don't know this about you, did you go to college? I know that you do
Sure.
design.
Good question. I went to college. I took 9 years to get my bachelor's. I have more credits than a doctor. We'll talk more about things that bring me in a lot of directions in the future, but it's hard for me to settle on one thing, so I would go to school for one thing, go to school for another thing, go to multiple schools. In the end, my degree ended with a bachelor's in education and a history teacher, so that was my actual college degree.
So congratulations on getting the bachelor, because I never did.
Sure.
I did a lot of that, probably about 60% of what you did.
Yeah.
And, getting my associates was good enough,
Sure.
just for fulfillment's sake.
Of course.
And I've done nothing with it.
Yeah, it was funny. My brother was like 3 credits away from getting his bachelor's and didn't get it. And my dad was so mad. And he's my older brother. So when I got my associates at Bucks Community College, he was like, you got to walk. Like, you're going to walk. I'm like, nobody walks for Bucks County. So he's like, you're going to walk. I'm going to watch at least one graduation, all this money, like whatever. So I walked for that. But then I kept going and eventually got my bachelor's. So he was extra proud of that.
Were you like the 32-year-old walking with the 20-year-old?
I was definitely
What's
like...
that movie, Van Wilder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Van Wilder.
Yeah, it was, I was the creepy old guy that was getting...
Did you go to a 4-year college after Bucks?
Yeah, so
And
I ended up...
Did you go
I
right
went...
from high school to Bucks?
All good question. So starting off, took a year at home, and then I went to University of Pittsburgh for a year.
Oh, wow, that's fun.
I was there. I will admit that I spent more time growing weed in our basement than going to school.
Where
Entrepreneurship.
entrepreneurship started.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was getting all the best strains from Amsterdam. This is 20 years
See?
ago. So
Quality.
these are OG strains I was growing.
Quality.
I became the best in town. I was taking pride in that. But my GPA ended up being 0.8.
Wow.
At Pittsburgh.
I feel like
0.8. I didn't even break. Yeah.
That's like a 300 credit score. You have to really try hard to get that.
It's you got to try hard by not trying at all, essentially. Not showing up and not doing anything. It wasn't exciting to me at the time, and I wasn't spending my own money. So those things were key elements as to why I wasn't
Yes.
showing up for class.
I think that's what happens because I didn't graduate. Because I feel like I was always confused. I went to, but I was blamed that I was bad at math and I couldn't get to the next level. But I'm like, if I really wanted to get there, I would have gotten there.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what happened to me. I got a job in what quote unquote my major would be, and I was making good money for like everybody else, like still in school. And I think that kind of swayed me away. But I was lucky when I started my tech job because people didn't need a degree. And then years into that job, they started requiring a degree.
Really? For basically what's help desk.
Yes.
And they grandmothered you in.
Yeah, but I also hated that, and I just kind of just got up and left one
Right.
day.
Fired your
Went
boss.
down that road.
Yes.
Yeah.
I fired my boss.
This is fascinating because we've talked a few times at various meetups, but like now that we're digging into it, like there's some similarities with our backstory, just in not even like the particulars. Like I never actually went away to college or university, but like trying different things and never being excited about doing the things that we could have been good at and were pushed to be good at, and that's why it was not successful for people like the three of us here.
Sure.
So you talked about having just so many different types of jobs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
So I was adding it up last night talking about it, but I've had literally 50 jobs. I'm 43. I've had 50 jobs now. A lot of them were the same job in different places. A lot of industry. When I say industry, I mean restaurants and things like that. So I've done everything from cook, bartender, front of the house, back of the house, everything in that industry. But then it just was like a litany of other things. You know what I mean? I've been a painter. I've been an artist. I've been a teacher. I've been a contractor. I've owned countless businesses. I was a drone operator. Just like I've done so many different things. And it's been, it's two parts. I guess it's a good time to mention my ADHD because I think that's a huge part of what we're getting into here.
Massively relevant.
If
Yes.
the crowd didn't already gather,
Right.
he has ADHD.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed late. I'm 43. I think I was 38. It's only been 4 or 5 years since I got the diagnosis. Wow. So I didn't come up, when I look back at my life in the 80s and 90s when they really weren't diagnosing it, I was just a smart-ass kid in class, the one that was always acting out or saying something funny and getting in trouble. All those things that add up to, like, that kid had ADHD or he wasn't being satiated mentally, intellectually, so he has to do things, he or she. So when I was looking at that, I remember for years I would always look up, I'd be like, why do I have hobbies that I get absolutely obsessed with, or businesses that I get obsessed with? And then once I get good at them or figure them out, it's like, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Moving on. And ultimately, from an ADHD perspective, that's me constantly looking for something novel. Like I thrive off of learning things, especially if it just catches my fancy, something shiny. And I just go right after it. So it's just like, I need to learn everything. I'm on every forum. I make friends with everybody in these groups. Like I become like the person. And then once I feel like, it's just kind of like I get there, then I'm just like, I move on. And that's been the story of my life in hobbies, in businesses. And that's what led to me having so many different things, so many different businesses. I have a lot of different skill sets because of all those things. And I'll bring that together, I guess, maybe towards the end about like where I'm at now and how I'm able to kind of, put some synergy to all that, to have a job or a business that takes those different skills and allows me to check the different boxes, and so I don't feel like I have this monotony to my day that I'm constantly I get to be a designer sometimes. I get to work with people that I love. I get to teach people. I get to learn new things. And so that's a big part of like where I'm at now.
You created your perfect job.
Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely.
But what's crazy about everything you said is that it sounds like you pick something up and you literally make it your self-mastery, like you've mastered it, which a lot of people can't even pick up anything to master. But sounds like you just...
Well, it's funny.
Just do it.
In mentioning that, though, it's a nice thing. So we talk about, attention deficit. And then people say, well, how about it's an attention difference disorder? So, like, the deficit feels negative, right? That means, like, I can't focus. Well, I can't focus on executive functioning things. Like, if you put the bills in front of me, I'm just going to hand it to my wife. Because she, like, I'm like, bah. And it doesn't... We're also going to talk dopamine here. So, like, I'm a dopamine addict. That's just what ADHD is. If it doesn't give me any sense of fun, excitement, gratification, my brain has zero interest, zero time for it. Even if it's something like, hey, you're not going to, like, we're going to take your car. I've had cars taken from me, not because I didn't have the money, because I hate sending a check in the mail.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, it has nothing. So those are the kind of things that, like, that's where the deficit is. But the benefit to it is when you can harness it. People with ADHD, we're the people that are the innovators, the creators. Leonardo da Vinci, he was never diagnosed. He had ADHD. These people that invent, that go above and beyond. So when you get into something, my hyper-focus exceeds any normal person, and I say normal in a neurotypical meaning, not having ADHD. I can outthink, outpassion, outfocus anybody that doesn't have this when it's something I care about. And that's what a big part of this is trying to attach things that you care about or excite you to the things that you have to do in order to get everything done.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned, like, school, the wise-ass kid. There was a kid that, his name's Rob. Maybe I'll ask him to come on because he's actually a badass entrepreneur now. But he was, like, he was the bad kid. Yeah. He was, like, up and then when you look back, it's like we're labeling ADHD, but, like, is there something, like, is it a kid with ADHD and we're making him have an issue, or is this just someone that's not supposed to be in the classroom, like, and we're all not to be in, that
Sure.
argument. We're all not supposed to be in this uniform, like,
in a
school
box.
setting.
Sure.
No,
Yes.
I 100% agree with that. I think it's both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to challenge clinical diagnosis that's backed up by empirical evidence, but at the same time, I do know the qualitative aspect of don't put everybody in the same box. And
Sure.
that is my upbringing too. I'm kind of in the middle. So I have anxiety and adjustment disorder, and probably a little touch of the ADHD. I don't know if that's a thing.
It can nick you.
Yeah, there it is. It grazed me.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you talk about it resonates with me. Is just getting bored with something that's completed or not finishing something to completion because it's boring.
Sure.
And so, yeah, to Jess, your point is like, that's like one of these things I harbor a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, words are hard.
Words are hard.
Words can be hard sometimes. Describe it. Maybe we'll focus
yeah,
rates
describe
kind of
it.
thing.
Resentment.
Yeah, resentment.
You're
Okay.
resenting me?
Not you.
The system.
Not
Oh.
the system.
You're not the
Resenting
system.
the system.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
anti-system.
Because of how, and we talked about this yesterday in a desperation text to each other about what we could have been, what we could have done. Yes, it sucks, but it doesn't matter. We're on the right path now. But yeah, do I want that to be better for the next generation? Absolutely.
Well, I can speak on that in the way of having ADHD, being a former educator, and so kind of hitting from those boxes. Things are going in the right direction. Absolutely. As far as being able to identify that, people getting advocated for. Education in our country is a very tough thing. There's a lot at play. It's not just the education not providing those things. It's back in the 50s, everybody came from a home. Do you know what I mean? The community. There was more. I'd say we're not going to talk religion, but just morally sound individuals, and so
People didn't want to have fences because they wanted to hang out with their neighbors.
100%. But having that there in place and having that support structure at home makes the teaching job a lot easier. So people are blaming a lot of teachers now, which is a part of the reason that I'm not there anymore. I didn't want the liability of raising a kid, their kids, and then when their kids weren't doing something right, it's like, look, these are things that these aren't my jobs. I'm not to raise your kid. I'm to educate your kid.
Pour one out for the teachers here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
truthfully, but there are definitely things in place where they are recognizing different learning styles and trying to cater to those things, and they're definitely in play as far as moving in that direction. But it's going to take tons of time and money for those things to suss out. But yeah, like you said, I think back at myself and I'm just like all the times. I remember every report card would have been like, not achieving to his level. Basically, you know what I mean? Intelligent, but not, always underachieving. And it was just like all these things that when you look back at it with some knowledge on the matter, and it's just like, oh, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Were you ever put into a gifted class?
I had a couple, a couple like honors and different things that we do, and it was just like, well, once again, education was really hard for me. Anything that I wasn't very specifically interested in, you know what I mean? Even like my most gifted thing was like math early on, and then like in the end, I'd say that was my least. It just like flip flopped. I'm really good at like basic and arithmetic math, and once it starts getting into higher level things, I'm like, my mind sees all this crap, and instead of being excited to figure it out, I'm like, what the hell is that going to do for
Why
me?
am I doing this? Why are there more letters
I
than
need
numbers
a little
in this equation?
Yeah, like,
and in business, all you need to know is that the chart going this way means you're making money.
Yeah.
And if you sell widgets for more than you paid to make them, you are profitable.
absolutely.
That's business 101, and you don't need to go to college for that. Continue.
No, so yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm like, you're always taking inventory of where you're at in life, what's going on, and I'd say like for me recently, and since I guess I'll speak more about this ADHD thing because it comes into my business and also,
I
what I've
definitely
done.
want you to touch on the coaching.
Yeah, so when I got diagnosed, and I'll just kind of streamline this whole thing, I was going to a therapist, we're just chatting about life, for a bit, and after about 3-4 months, he says, listen, man, it sounds like most of your issues are derived from you having undiagnosed ADHD. Can I diagnose you? Can I give you the testing? I said, sure, absolutely. Take the test. It's, absolutely have ADHD as an adult. Okay. Because we've kind of been through some things together. He's like, I honestly think you'd be better off with an ADHD coach. Like, go down that path, address your ADHD and how that's affecting your life, both business and personal. And then if you feel like there's things that you and I, meaning my therapist and him, can talk about, then yeah, bring it back. But that ADHD element just seems so big in your life and such a huge element as to the issues that you're having and have had in the past. And so that's what I did. I went and got an ADHD coach. We worked together for maybe 5-6 months, and it was good. And by the end of that, she kind of was like, because the ultimate goal with anything, whether it be therapy, coaching, diets, prescriptions, is not that you have to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Is that you get to a place and a point in your life where you're able to utilize the skills that you've worked on, talked about, or ultimately come up in your own head, which we'll talk about that, to move forward with your life in a positive manner. You know what I mean? And so we got to a point where me and my ADHD coach was like, look, I feel like you got a good game plan. You know, you're aware of all the issues, you're doing the things. Let me set you free, you know? And like soon thereafter, I kind of became obsessed with ADHD. Like anything else, it became like my next hobby. I'm going to learn everything about this. Yep. It affects me personally. I was just having a baby at the time. So I'm like, 65% of parents that have it, even just one ends up with their kids. I was like, I want to do this for me. I want to do this for my kid. Mm-hmm. So it started out, let me take some classes. I ended up going to ADCO, which is the academy that trained my coach and is like the academy in this country. And at first I just took a course to learn about ADHD and myself. But then they had this thing where they only do it once a year. The next 2 classes, which ended up being a year long, were lined up. And it was like, do you want to be a coach? And I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I just want to do it. You know what I mean? And so I went through the whole process and the whole 9, and then from there took on clients, and that was a few years of doing all that. But I learned so much. And it was also this thing where it wasn't just learning. It was like you're hearing anecdotal stories about others that are suffering, and you're like, you hear people telling a story, and you're like, that's my life. Right. Like, that's me. Like, there's just like, you want to think you're unique in your problems and issues and also your special positives. We're not unique, we're a unique blend of things, but, most of those things are out there in the world. And honestly, it feels better to have a community than to feel like you're either uniquely alone or uniquely on top of the world. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have community in all things. So that
what
was...
makes you feel better about yourself? Like, when you meet someone, you're like, oh my God, like, you think that too. I feel like I told you this before, some of the closest people that know the most about me aren't the people that are in my, like, average life, or people that I did, like,
they're just kindred spirits or something.
That, like, we have, like, things in common, really just mental health wise. Like, really nothing else, completely different.
You and I became good friends after we learned that each other is a mess. We both thought for the first year of knowing each other that we had our shit together.
I was like, Dan's got it together.
Yeah, narrator, we don't.
Yeah, I know all about the facade.
I feel like sometimes I do. I'm a very up and downer. I'm like, sometimes I'm really golden, other times I'm like, oh gosh, I exist.
That's the constant struggle, though. Yeah. Keep it moving. That's another thing with ADHD is that, like, the imposter syndrome. Like, even when you're doing well, you're kind of like... really bad. I've had it my whole life, and it's like... I remember being on a job. I was... this was, like, one of my earlier corporate jobs, which I didn't write down on my job list. But I sold industrial safety equipment. I was, like, 23. My friends were, like, still in college. I was making... Like, I ended up, like, making my way into this job through various other opportunities. And I had an office, and I remember just, like, I would be, like, fucking... Can you curse on this thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
No, I'd just be, like... I'd be just, like, fucking around, bullshitting with, like, the dude next to me, whatever, and I'd take a call, I'm like, hi, this is Seth at Ramsco, how can I help? Just, like, I'd have this whole conversation in the most, like, I sound like an executive on the phone. And I'd get off the phone, like, did you fucking just hear me? Like, did you just hear what I was doing? Like, I was laying it down. Like, you know what I mean? It was, like... but that whole time, I'm like... That's not, like, I felt like an imposter being a professional, and it was just like, that's kind of carried on throughout life, to the point where as you adult and you have, own a home and have kids and all these things, like, I still feel 17, like, that's my cutoff. 17, 18 is kind of like where my mentally, I've become wiser, I've become a bit more mature, but, like, that's kind of where, 25 years ago is kind of like where I reached the person I am today, and everything else has been, like, a refinement of that. So it's funny for me even having conversations with, like, parents that are like my kids, you know, like the parents of your kids' friends and stuff like that, where you're just like, you know, they're talking about 401k, all the things that are just normal middle-aged people things. And I'm like, yeah, I can talk to anybody about anything and like actually hold my own. But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are we talking? You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's what's good about your group over there. Like you, Gina, like you guys just like lay around and hang, and that's good vibes. Like I feel like I don't necessarily have that as an adult.
Come over, you're down the street.
Like,
you're always welcome.
Do that. Yeah,
you know? And,
I know.
You know?
I come sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised that you guys can even sit though. Like if I like.
Well, you act like we're just sitting around. I don't know.
Whatever you're talking about, I'm sure is very riveting for those listening right now.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say thank you for
that. Yeah, you guys weren't there.
Yeah, but
oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
You guys
no
weren't
context.
there.
No context.
He's like, provide context, not just tell him you should have been there.
You should have been there, bitches.
But yeah, where were we? Let's try to digress and reel in.
Well, talking about being bored listening to 401ks.
Yeah, ultimately the imposter in various forms, whether it's professionally, personally, but just feeling like, oh, like I'm an adult and I have to just, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but that's part of everything. And the negative part is it's a common thing with ADHD, and it's like even when you're having successes in your personal and professional life, not feeling like you're either worthy of it or that it's real. You know what I mean? And so like then you sometimes can self-sabotage.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? So all these other things that come along with that.
So were there failures that led to that? Because that's explicitly what mine is because things have failed or the hammers come down.
Yeah.
And I would sabotage myself before that would happen. So that way it's mitigated. And
100%.
Now I'm protected.
This is a story of my life. And once again, I don't want to sound like annoying, but I'm going to just, like, we're talking ADHD. These are common ADHD things. So people with ADHD, they fail a lot because of two things. We have the gumption to actually try to do things. But a lot of our shortcomings in the executive functioning portion keeps us from seeing those through. So then they turn into failures.
Right.
So when I tell you I've had 12 different startup businesses on top of all my other jobs, they were failures, but not because they couldn't have succeeded. They were failures because I didn't continue with them.
Right.
And what happens is when you do that so often, it started earlier in life. It could be a failure in trying to get into a friend group or at class. You start to accept that a little bit, and you do exactly what you did, which was you start to preemptively just be like, oh, it's not going to work out, and you find ways to get your foot out the door so that you don't feel hurt when that ultimate failure happens. And that becomes a mindset that you need to change in order to be successful in the end, because
I counter and say that it can be leveraged. If you can use it in a way to validate and test ideas fast, then that's an absolute superpower.
100%.
But you have to remove the emotion and be able to objectively say, this is not the play.
Yes.
A/B test is over.
Right. It's a variability treating science. I agree with that, being lean about something, finding out a failure fast, being able to pivot, move.
But to your point,
hugely.
That's also a mindset. That's 100%.
It is. And you have to go from being able to, you said remove emotion.
Yeah.
Easy to say, hard to do.
Sure.
But 100% the truth. And that is what it is being able to come to the terms with like, okay, and then being able to look at your past failures. I was talking a little earlier about all the different things that are part of the business I'm doing now were all parts of businesses I've had in the past. And the parts that I liked from them were the creative ones, talking with the people, educating the people. The failures came at various other places in those businesses, but I got to pull out the positives from that and then utilize that to say, oh, cool, this business I'm in now, I get to do the things that are shiny and keep me going because I know who I am.
We all mentioned we don't love math, but that is the transitive property. Being able to take the skill sets from one to the other, and I try to tell people that too all the time. Like, if this chapter's over, everything that happened before is absolutely still relevant in your experience to deploy in the next round. And this is so much of this is resonating with me.
Cool.
For that because that's my job in my life. Is everything you just mentioned. I'm doing that too, but I don't don't design plans. I don't build buildings. I build campaigns. I build websites. We build thematic brands.
Cool.
I feel like everyone can. I personally would never look at you as someone who because I feel like I have severe imposter syndrome. Like I deal with it all the time because I have a very unique personality.
Or do you?
I'm hilarious. One.
We're just waiting for that. We're waiting for that.
Yes. Well, it's hard to. Because everybody does want to be very, serious and, corporate all the time. And I don't want to be like that. And I feel uncomfortable like that. I feel, unauthentic.
But do you feel like you've surrounded yourself, because it seems like you do a pretty good job of like doing what you do, but still remaining loose, and you know what I mean? Like it feels like that.
I think it's when I put myself, when I put myself in social situations with other people that are doing like what I do, I feel like you start to think like, oh, wait, do I fit here? Because like this is how everybody like wants to like. I've decided in my life, I told you this, I think that I need to create my own brand of myself because I can't fit the mold of any other, like, I'm not going to be like a CEO of someone else's brand because I'm me.
But also there's more of us than you think.
Right.
If we take inventory, you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate investor, you are the president of a business organization, you are now a podcast host, you are a mother, you are a friend, you are a lot of different. You're a stand-up comedian. You're an improv player. You guys say
all this stuff. Like you talk about yourself very confidently. Like there have been times where like it took me a very long time once I got my real estate license to finally like embrace. All right, I can tell the public I'm a realtor because I never wanted someone to ask me a question and I didn't know and I felt like. But now we.
Can I tell you something I tell people all the time?
Yeah.
About confidence and like at that question part, and I don't know if it's decent advice, I guess. When I was a teacher, so for 2 years, I had this job where I was a district sub. So instead of being like a building sub, I was at this big district in Upper Darby. And every morning at 6 a.m., I would get a phone call and they'd be like, you're a gym teacher at this school. You're going to be a reading specialist today. You're teaching 3rd grade. It was amazing, like insane. Like my life was insane. Every day it was just like, wake up, you don't know what you're in for. And they're vastly different teaching. I would be a kindergarten teacher the whole day. Do you know what kindergarten is like? They need everything to be exactly as it is. You can't go deviate from the plan there, you know? But the fun part was that I would do like math, like by 4th grade, they're doing like long division. Like I forget how to write all that shit out. So like I would be looking stuff up, doing all these different things. And I remember I'd just be looking like, what do I got to teach these kids? The key to this is everything. They look at you like the authority. So someone asking a realtor expects the realtor to know realtor questions. I was the teacher, whatever it was, they expected that. Whatever you say, just say it with confidence. And they'll believe you. Now, don't lead them off a bridge. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm saying it's amazing what just being the position of authority and then saying something confidently to them, you can make up something that's like, you know what I mean? That's the key. Just say it with confidence, and they're going to believe you, and everything's going to be good. But once again, don't give terrible.
I also try the one where I pretend to be an actor,
advice.
where I'm like, I'm an actress. Like I'm gonna roll up here. I'm gonna.
You're gonna do a part, like you're.
Like here's my part. Like I'm gonna be an actor right now, and I'm gonna go pretend to be like a little Betty Crocker or something. Like hello. Like
you do this to clients, like when does this happen?
I pivoted to being a mom, and like doing all the parents. Hi, you're so nice. And like meanwhile, like when I leave, I'm like hitting my pen in the car. Everyone ever go? Oh, you guys want to bake cookies later? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the nice part is being able to just, like, surround yourself with people where you can be your comfortable self. You know what I mean? That's what I've found. I get in trouble sometimes because I say too much, or my wife is like, you're always looking for the funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, sometimes my foot's in my mouth.
For the funny?
Yeah, like, always. I'm always dropping. Like, I'm just like, you're never going to.
Always in a bit, and so am I.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I remember the one day you called me, and I told Gina, I'm like, does Seth really not know who I am? He's like, no, he's in a bit. And I'm like, no, like, I think I went with the bit, but, like, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I'm always trying to keep myself happy. Like, never at the full expense of somebody else. Sometimes it is because people are sensitive about things. Like, I'm never saying, like, really, like, intense things at somebody. But I ultimately am... It's still, like, me chasing adrenaline and dopamine. Yeah. So, for me, I'm just, like, if I can make myself laugh... Now, like I said, it's not throwing people under the bus to do so. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm always on just, like, boom, boom, boom. And, like... It doesn't always work, and I often don't care. I've gotten to the point where I don't care, but there are instances where it can be problematic. So as a professional and a middle-aged man in a community or whatever, I have to just be like, walk the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Understood.
Walk the line.
There's certain contexts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do that without sacrificing who you are.
100%.
That's the line.
And like I said, what it does is I'm okay with people disliking me because ultimately they're disliking me for whatever my reasons. It's like because I am genuine to me and my people. You know what I mean? So it's just like if you don't like me, it's fine. I don't need to see it. We don't need to be around each other.
Which I think is a skill that is learned. I've done better with that with age.
Yeah, same. 100%.
Very Gary V. Like don't give a fuck, but then like only some days I give a fuck.
Sure.
Yeah.
And dude, I ain't acting like I don't listen. Trust me, like we're all ruled by the idea of like, are they going to be okay with this? Are they gonna, I mean, I'm a people pleaser. Once again, it's like another ADHD kind of thing. You're like, I need your acceptance from me like constantly. So it's just like when I'm working with clients today, after this, I got to go. We're doing like trying to finalize this project we've been on for 6 weeks. And there's all these little, it's just like, sometimes you're in a position where you feel like, oh, am I bending to whatever? Like, you got to be like, I got to put my foot down. That's not in the original contract. All these things. And that happens all the time. So being a people pleaser is still plenty real. And I can't confidently say, I don't give a fuck about nobody, like what anybody thinks.
So then what's the next evolution for you? Or what you're working on when you're at this stage?
The next evolution right now is, basically, the last several years, I've had several businesses. I had a mobile bar trailer, which I'm selling because I just don't have the time for it. Tipsy Pose.
Do you have a buyer?
Not yet, but we've got
much you
people in
selling
mind.
it
Okay.
We have like $15K. This is where we're at with it right now. You want it?
Nope. I thought you were going to say something in the lower thousands.
No.
I don't know what trailers cost.
Yeah, there's...
You renovated that.
Yeah. So, but what was happening, and this has happened my whole life, is not only did I have a lot of businesses, I always had a lot of things going on at once.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to refine. You know what I mean? You can only juggle so much because nothing gets the right amount of attention, and then they all fall to the ground. And so that's been absolutely the story of my life. So even in the last several years, it was this time last year I had the Tipsy Pose, the bar trailer. I was goal focused coaching, my ADHD coach. My wife and I run farm fam events at Charland Farms. My wife does most of that now, where we do parties and events there. And I was closing out a Blue River soft wash, a power washing business I had, and launching, I'm in year 2 of Vita Nova Design and Build. So I had like 5 things going, and it was just, it's ridiculous. And also running the comedy show, all these other things. So for me, it's just been eliminate. Cool. Soft wash business out the window, sell the bar thing. My wife's taken over most of the event thing, and now my focus can be on, the design and build company. And that's been the big thing. The evolution is refinement.
Refine and focus.
Absolutely, refine and focus.
Which is A/B testing. That's A/B testing, and not in the context of failures.
You love this A/B testing.
Listen,
thing.
that's my mindset.
So that would be the theme and end of the episode, which would be, was it?
Refine, reiterate,
and refocus.
Yeah, refine and refocus.
Find your one thing.
Yeah.
And refine and refocus.
Yeah, cool.
So thank you, Seth.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We're done. No, I'm kidding. We have to end like this.
Oh yeah, you got to do our high kick.
What do we got here? I just got to get out of the way.
No, you have to get involved.
That's
like
fine.
this.
I'm pretty flexible. What do I got to do?
This is how we end the episodes.
Ow!
Oh,
I didn't stretch.
Are we good?
Actually,
We're
that
good.
feels really good.
All right, sweet.
Awesome sauce.